The following program is a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. The first season is comprised mostly of very new Dungeons & Dragons players. Please be kind and courteous and enjoy the show for what it is. Enjoy. Roll for roll.
We begin our adventure in the town of NaMaarie. Does anybody know Elvish?
Yes.
In your language? Everyone knows Elvish?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It is Elvish for farewell. It's a fishing and trade town southwest of Bodom, where King Raymith, the great elf king, lives. During the day, the town is alive with merchants selling their wares and sailors returning from a vast blue ocean that lies to the southern side of the town. You and your party have had a couple of adventures together already, enough to know that you can trust each other, for the most part. You traveled here yesterday and made your stay at the Ocean's End, a very well-known tavern and inn that is for more aristocrat types rather than low-life scum. This tavern is no stranger to unique races, as it's filled for breakfast. There's some dwarves sitting at the table next to you. They're already beginning to drink. And you can overhear bits and pieces of their conversation talking about the mines to the north and their claims to treasure. There's also some humans sitting kind of back towards the end of the tavern, getting the good meals in for the full day's work ahead of them, whispering about giant sea creatures that nearly destroyed their ship. And you four, just sitting down to maybe the first good meal you've had in a while since on the road. So, what would you guys like to do?
You said we heard some Elvish. Is there any way that I can try to find out what they're saying?
Oh, you know the town name NaMaarie is Elvish for farewell.
It was the dwarves that were speaking, right?
Right. The dwarves are just speaking common.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And they were talking about the mines to the north, and the humans were whispering about giant sea creatures destroying their ships. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Zokkan is standing, leaning against a building that we're near, and he's just flicking a small pebble that he's found up in the air and watching it fall back into his hand.
Okay.
Uninterested.
You're doing that inside the tavern. You guys are inside the tavern.
Sure. Leaning up against the wall. Then.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned something about the first good meal that we're gonna have. So
yes.
Axton's either going to be eating or ordering whatever that said good meal is, because chances like this in a tavern, they don't come by all the time. So that's good fortune. You gotta go for that.
So, are you sitting down, Axton?
Yeah.
Axton?
Yes, I'll be sitting down. Yes.
Are you with him, Jaeger and Nixera?
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting down, enjoying a nice meal that I can get, and probably talking to whoever's walking by, because I'm a chatter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting down, just on the edge, looking around, because I am not used to many people around me.
Are you trying to look for something, or are you just looking around trying
Just
to gather?
Just looking around. Mm-hmm.
Roll a perception check.
That's the D20, right?
Correct. D20 plus your modifier for perception and skills.
Am I doing it in chat?
Yes, you're doing it
Please
on
do.
the chat, please. And while next year, yeah, that's fine. And while she's gathering the information, kind of looking around her, taking in all of her surroundings. Okay. Axton and Jaeger are approached by a waitress, and she's like, comes up, she goes, "Well, what will it be today? What kind of breakfast are you guys looking for?"
Do you have any specialties? Or anything you recommend?
We've got eggs and bacon and fresh bread.
That
All right.
sounds wonderful.
We'll take 2 of that.
Coming right up. So she took it away and
I
walks
try
back
to
over
stop
to the
her.
kitchen.
I try to stop her
She-
as she walks by.
She stops.
I put out my
Mhm.
hand. Fish.
Well, fish it will be. And she scurries off into the kitchen. And while that's happening, Nixera.
Mixera.
Nixera. While you're looking around, you notice a cloaked individual in the far back corner that most people, if they weren't really looking for anything, they wouldn't have found him. And your eyes kind of lock for a second, and he stands up, or what you can perceive to be a he stands up and rushes out the back.
I'll go ahead and I'm gonna follow.
Okay. So you put yourself away from the table and stand up, and Jaeger and Axton and Zokkan all see this. Do you guys stop her, or do you guys?
Yeah. You're not hungry? You don't want to eat anything? Where you heading? We just got here.
No, I'm not hungry. I'm actually, I just saw something. I'm gonna go check it out.
I'm just
You want
flipping
any
my rock.
assistance?
I'm just flipping my rock.
I mean, I'm
Look
waiting.
up.
I got food coming, but you know.
No, go ahead. If you're going to eat, go ahead. I'm just gonna go look.
All right. Well, if you need anything, you just give a holler.
Okay,
I'm running.
I will.
Wink.
Okay, so you stand up from the table and you proceed after this cloaked individual.
Yes.
Okay. So the door that you went out that followed this cloaked individual is kind of like a back alley between the tavern and the inn. It's kind of like most of the time the tavern and inn are together, but in this instance they separated. And there's some shadowy areas about, and it's kind of high up, and you can hear the ocean and seagulls go in, since you are in a port town. And you hear this voice kind of echo from all around you, and it says, "Ah, a curious one. You could prove quite useful."
How can I prove? How am I
Well,
useful?
are you with those other companions inside?
Yes, I am.
Well, perhaps you can gather your party and come back out, and I can further explain to you what I need doing.
What is your name?
That is no concern to you.
All right. And I will be right back.
Okay, so you turn around and head back into the tavern.
Excuse me. Axton,
Yes.
there is somebody outside that would actually like to talk to all of us.
Well, I mean, sure. Why not? Food can wait.
There goes our food. Oh,
Yeah. Let's go. I'm good.
you
I'm
sure it
down.
can't wait, Nixera?
There's something around him. Very mysterious.
All right, Axton. What do you say?
I say let's go. We'll see what happens.
No.
Let Timora guide my judgment.
Okay, so you guys stand up from the table. Zokkan, you see them, your companions standing up. Do you follow in?
I
With
heard
them,
very
or-
well. I heard them very well, and I'm flipping. I catch my little rock, and I say, "I like mysterious," and I just proceed to follow them out as well.
Actually, before I leave, I want to leave whatever the payment was for the food on the table, so I'm not a jerk about it. So I'll leave the
Okay.
coin there. Somebody will get a free meal, so it doesn't look
Yeah,
like it's gonna be me.
It's 2 gold for both the meals and the fish. So you guys all head outside to the back and you look around. Does anybody want to make a perception check?
Sure. I'll make one. Let's see. We've got advanced rolling here. We got this way. 17.
17. So you come out into the alley and it's a little damp on the ground and you don't see anybody there. And he says, "Oh," you hear a voice that comes over. "Oh, you are a curious bunch. This could prove very useful to me."
I say, you seem to be pretty interested in all of us, so it's only common courtesy to show yourself when you're addressing a group of people.
That sounds like a persuasion. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Oh boy. Let's give this a go. Yeah, 9. There we go.
He's it.
Not my strong suit.
So, you don't see any movement. He says, "I'll reveal myself in time. I do have a task for all 4 of you, if you are up to it."
I'll look at everybody else. See if I can get any.
Axton looks to his companions.
I say we take it.
Is this a task you would have us do or an order?
It's a task. I do not own you, so it's not an order.
And what's in return
Right
will we
about
get
that.
for this task?
I'll give you guys 250 gold. How does that sound?
Sounds like a lot of bacon and eggs to me. I don't know about
Gentlemen?
you guys.
Money is good.
I'm always up for adventure.
No?
Good. I would do this task myself, but I've got the business elsewhere. That's why I do not have time to do it. And since you are a curious bunch and instead heed into maybe even possible trouble, you guys will fare pretty well. It's a artifact that my master needs. Rumor has it it's to the northeast, where a group of kobolds has destroyed a caravan to take it from them. I need you to take it back.
And who would your master be?
That is not your concern.
Well,
The
did say
only thing
like
you
mysterious.
need to concern is getting this artifact.
What is the artifact?
It's a golden orb that has green liquid in it.
Now, what does this orb and liquid mean to you and your master?
I do not ask, I just follow directions. Whatever it means to my master, it means to my master and not me.
Not to sound disinterested or this offer, 250 gold, quite generous. You said kobolds. Any idea how many? Was this tap during the day, during the night? Any details you can provide will surely make our journey easier.
I did not ask any details. Only I know it's in perhaps a kobold cave.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Great.
I agree.
Kobolds will stand no chance against us four.
It's about a day's journey walk north. Just follow the main road. You'll see the caravan.
Then let's make preparations immediately.
And I'll meet you back here in, say, 2 days' time.
And let our preparations include breakfast.
You don't hear anything else from him.
I turn around and walk back into the
He's
tavern,
gone.
hoping that they're bringing the food still.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Zokkan back into the tavern.
So, luckily, this conversation didn't go very long, and by the time you walk in, the waitress is walking back out with your plates of food, and she looks down, doesn't see, and then sees you guys coming in. And she goes, "Oh," and places the food on the table, and sees that there's 2 gold, and takes it slowly, and waits for an acknowledgement from you guys that this is the payment for the food.
Yeah.
Axton gives
give it
a nod. Yeah, and so she picks up the payment, turns around, and walks in. Is there anything else besides eating and talking
I'd like
about?
to
Mhm.
pick up my food and take it over next to the dwarves and using my dwarvish language skills, try to conversate with them and eat my food with them as well.
Okay, so you pick up your plate while everybody else sits, or
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
sits down and Jaeger walks over, picks up his food, and just walks
Okay.
over to the group of dwarves.
so dwarves are laughing, like they're talking common, and then you come over, and what would you like to say to them in dwarvish?
Jaeger will walk over and say, "Hail, travelers! What news have you of the north?"
And they stop. They look up. Hey! Come! Sit down! Yeah, and they scoot over a drink, and they move a table, and they push somebody else over, and like, come sit down. We've got lots to tell you. And so they kind of just explain. It's mostly just like hearsay, and like my great grandfather lived way up north, and he's, those are my treasures. Like, no, your grandfather is a piece of shit. Like they're just bickering back. They're drunk at this time. They're just bickering back and forth, yelling at each other, throwing food, throwing their beer, and ordering more drinks. And so you're just slamming down drinks with them.
Yep.
Okay.
So first things first, round on Jaeger.
Oh. Ah!
Loosen their
And
tongues a
waitress
little
comes
bit more.
over, and she's So I mean, most of what they're talking about, like you've heard some rumors of dwarven mines up to the north, and there's supposedly treasure in there they've mined for generations and generations, and they just mine deep. There's a huge mountain range up to the north, and they're just spitballing, talking. Most of it's bullshit, but it's hard to from the stories passed down from generation to generation. It's kind of hard to tell where it comes from and what's real and what's not real.
Okay. I'd like to bring up artifacts, if you will, gentlemen. Anyone heard of orbs and green liquids?
They kind of think, the only artifacts we're after is gold. And they all start laughing and chucking,
Cheering.
putting back to, yeah.
So I think at this
So-
point I realize that
They have no idea what they're
it's,
talking
it's
about.
a
Yeah.
lost cause, but I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm going to drink up and be merry with them.
Sounds good. And the rest of you guys?
I'm just snacking on Axton's bread that I kind of took.
I don't say anything to that because the bacon and eggs is still here, and that's honestly what I'm after. So yeah, I'll continue to eat and just enjoy the food while I can.
All right.
I am going to sort of not make any eye contact, but sort of speak at Nixera and say, "Huh, I didn't take you for the thieving type," and kind of like, kind of comedically, but still kind of like doesn't want to take too much credit for being funny, for like the bread thing. But I make that comment to her, kind of like under my breath, but she could hear.
I just look at him and just kind of shake my head. Didn't say anything to him.
More about the being that we sensed outside, Nixera. You felt more from him than the others did. You're skeptical, are you not?
I feel like he's hiding something. Something more. What?
Do you think
I
he's
don't know.
devious?
Talking about golden orbs, green liquid, and kobolds? There might be something more up there. Also, briefly hearing the dwarves talking about the north, I wonder if it's up that way.
Well, I suppose if we can keep Jaeger from drinking at breakfast, we might actually make it up there. And then I kind of just like humph to myself and start chewing on my fish.
All right. So you guys get done. It's a fantastic meal. Seeing that most of the time you've been eating rations on the road, and or picking apples, hunting game. It's a good turn of your normal food intake. It's about 8:30 in the morning. Is there anything that you like to do around town?
I don't know if there is it's a market town, it's farewell, so I imagine that there might be a place where I could pick up just some adventuring supplies, maybe, like more rations in case this takes way longer than we're thinking, or I don't know, extra candles, something, stuff like that.
Well, you have heard of a shop, just from people talking around, and it's kind of some talk saying, "Oh, like this guy is out of his mind," and other talks are like, "Wow, he sells good wares." And that is Marin's Magical Materials. And it's located towards the entrance of town, that's not on the ocean side.
Okay, so probably the side we're
Triple
gonna
M.
be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, after finishing my food, I look to Nixera and Zokkan because they're next to me, and I ignore Jaeger off drinking with all the dwarves, and I say, I don't know if you guys heard any. We're gonna start leaving soon, I presume, if we can get him away from the dwarves. There's supposed to be a shop, Marin's Magical Materials, out by the entrance. I think I'm gonna swing by there and just grab some stuff before we leave. I don't know if you guys want to come or you want me to pick you up anything, but I'm gonna swing by there.
I'll go ahead and I'll go with you.
Zokkan?
I will use this time to go find a place to sharpen my blades, I find.
Well,
And then I actually tuck out right then and there. I finished my food, and I sort of slowly get up, turn around, and walk out.
all right. I look at Nixera and go, he is just all about the mystery, it seems, this guy. All
Yeah,
right.
he is.
Well, to Marin's, I suppose.
All right. So you guys.
And as I walk out, I clap Jaeger on the shoulder and I say, "Don't overdo it." And I walk out of the bar.
And when you come up to them, they're like, "Ah, another one! Come!
I just passed.
More
I just
drinks!"
passed out the door.
So
being the
Nixera, like, walking by.
So I feel the tap and I recognize that they're leaving to go shopping. but I'm having such a good time, and I'm chatting these dwarves up, and I'm just having a good time. So I stay a little bit longer with my
All right.
friends.
So since they're all excited, the dwarves and Nixera just left me at their mercy here. As I continue to leave, but I tell the dwarves, I said, you got to ask him about that one story. He knows the one that I'm talking about. Ask him about that. It's a great one.
Oh, a story! Lad, you got to tell us a story. My Scottish is terrible. Okay, so you guys are outside. Jaeger's still drinking up with the dwarves. Zokkan, where are you going? They're on their way. And it's gonna take them about 5 minutes to walk there.
So I am just going to... I said that I was going to go find a place to sharpen my blades, but really I'm just going to be taking a walk around, kind of just like... Not necessarily turning my head everywhere, but just kind of eyeballing all the people and places that I see. Just kind of... not necessarily in the middle of the streets or anything, just kind of like off the side, unnoticeable, not getting any attention, but just taking in the surroundings... making sure that if there's any noticeable or influential people around, anybody that's armed, just kind of taking in the surroundings with no real specific destination in mind. Just wanted to be alone.
So, in your travels, you see they're loading and unloading boats. Fishermen coming in, unloading their wares, exchanging. They're selling, like, there's a whole market of. They're selling different types of fish, lobsters, pretty much everything that has to do with like shrimp, stuff like that. There's guards there that walk in pairs, and they're just looking around for suspicious activity and such, but nothing too out of the ordinary or anything like that. About that time, Axton, you and Nixera.
Nixera?
Am I getting that right? Nixera.
It's like Toys R Us, Nixera, like that.
Nixera. Okay.
At least that's how I'm remembering it. Toys R Us.
Nixera.
Yeah.
You gotta remix that, by the way, because you've got there are so many words with that. You put a little beat to that, you've got it right there. That's the intro. That's like her theme music comes out on the Titantron, Nixera.
Okay. Anyway, so
DJ Nixerat.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you guys approach. You see a sign. It looks like a cauldron with smoke coming out of it that says Marin's Magical Materials. You open up the door.